everyone, happy Thursday. Well, it's been a crazy week. I released an Evolution of the Disney Princess medley and it went crazy. It's been really wonderful to have all your support and all the views. I'm really overwhelmed by it. So I wanted to follow up this week's voice lesson relating to that medley. I'm going to teach you how to belt like a Disney princess today. I have 2 other voice lesson videos that I'll touch on. I did a how to sing like Rapunzel and how to sing like Ariel from The Little Mermaid. So you can check those out as well. If you're a new belter, I suggest you check out my how to belt video as well. It can give you some good tips on how to be a beginning belter and how to kind of get started, and that would be a really great warm-up before you start today's video. So maybe go check that out and come right back. The definition of a belt is singing big, high, loud, powerful. It's that kind of vocal feeling. And you really want to feel the resonance here in your chest, but make sure that you're also sending the tone from your face as well, and you're not using your throat at all. In general, when we're singing, we don't want to be using any part of our throat. No tension, no tightness, so just keep that in mind as you're going through this video with me today. You see in my Evolution medley there are 75 years covered, and the difference in vocal tone from Snow White in 1937 all the way through Elsa. There is a big difference in the vocal, and every princess has their own personality and their own vocal style, which I tried to capture as much as possible. But you'll notice through the years, as the movies became more contemporary, as the years went by, that the princesses had more attitude, and usually there was more of a belt sound. So really starting with The Little Mermaid, the Disney sound, as I've talked about before, is a little bit brighter. It's usually crisp, clean, really enunciated. It's like musical theater mixed with pop. So there's that really forward, bright sound. I've mentioned before, it's like singing in your smile. So think a lot about that today. Join me with your happy, bright Disney face, and that'll help your vocal tone. I'm already talking a little bit differently, a little bit higher, but it's a really healthy place for you to be, especially when you're trying to belt like one of these princesses.
Up where they walk, up where they run, up where they stay all day in the sun.
Now, to get a little more in depth with The Little Mermaid, you can check out my voice lesson right here. One little tip that a lot of us don't really realize is that The Little Mermaid doesn't really belt. Part of Your World is that beautiful kind of epic Disney song, and that big moment at the end is not a belt. Jodi Benson really goes into this really nice forward-placed mix. Jasmine is similar. Lea Salonga has that incredible, very pure Disney crisp sound.
A whole new world.
And she also is mixing A Whole New World. So when she comes in on A Whole New World in the chorus, and like I sang it, it's in a really forward mixed tone. So it's in her head voice, but it's a little bit more placed, you're singing in your mask, and it's forward, but the resonance is a little bit nasal so she can get that crisp, clear sound. It's kind of a mix of the 2 things. A whole new world, it's right up here. World would be a little bit classical. World. So you have to kind of brighten that vowel a little bit. World. And think it's singing in your smile. A dazzling place I never knew. So keeping it as forward as you can. I guess that's the word for Jasmine. Forward placement and still pretty bright. Now Pocahontas, the word for her is power. She has this deep, rich, awesome belt.
And you'll never hear the wolf cry to the blue corn moon.
She comes in with this huge, powerful note. And it's really supporting from your belly. Just think that deep, rich, low support. When you're singing like Pocahontas, you really can let it resonate and feel that deep vibration in your chest right here. I don't want you to feel any strain here, but feel like it's coming from a deep, low, rooted into the ground place. And there's a little bit of a what's called a vocal cry or a sob. And you'll never hear the wolf cry. Now, if I didn't give it that little bit of that pop scoop, it doesn't have the same oomph that she has when she uses that vocal cry.
Never hear.
It gives it a little bit of that edge. So when you're singing this song, I want you to think of that low support and using the vocal cry. Now, Mulan, for me, is all about vowels. Mulan is also Lea Salonga, who did Jasmine, and she is such a bright, crisp, clear, beautiful tone. But instead of singing like, who is that girl? It's bright. Who? Hugh. I want you to think, ew. Hugh is that girl I see. It's really, really bright, forward.
Who is that girl I see staring straight back at me?
We're definitely using kind of that twangy sound that I've talked about before, so check out that lesson. Twang and belt are two things that go hand in hand, and they'll get you through all the princesses to feel that power, not only in your head voice, but that belty chest power. And also the diphthong. So I know that's a funny word, but that's just when you're completing the end of the vowel. So her I, if we're singing a classical piece, we're singing I, but she's more I. You have a little bit of that, like you're really ready to go to the Y. So thinking about that I being a little bit brighter and a little more spread. Someone I don't know. It's really bright and lifted instead of no. So thinking of your vowels being bright and ready for that diphthong a little sooner than you would be if you were singing in a nice long classical tone.
Do you know he loves you?
Now Giselle is really fun, and I would say just think about Giselle as speak singing, that she is belting, but it's like not too different from her speaking voice. How do you know he loves you? It's just keeping it all really forward, like a little bit kind of like you're yelling, but mostly like you're talking really loud. How do you know he's yours? It's just like really out there. You don't have to do much. Don't think too hard about singing perfectly. That's why Giselle's so much fun. She's just kind of like, here it is, it's all out there.
So I work real hard each and every day, and things for sure are going my way.
Now Tiana is really, really fun because she's got that soul and that gospel feel that adds a little bit more sass and edge to her voice, and it makes it really rich too. Singing in that kind of longer vowel shape, it's not as bright and like all the other princesses. Tiana has a little bit more of that round sound to her belt. So I work real hard each and every day. Think about that. You've got space in your mouth and everything has power. So everything has a little more emphasis, and maybe there's a little bit more vibrato. Let that come in to your voice. And she definitely uses a lot of nuance. Things for sure are going my way. It's all in that low, deep, rich place, but the vocal is very dynamic. Just doing what I do. It's like almost every note. It's almost like it's a little bit of a scoop. The there is a really key one. Almost there, almost there. It's like really rich. Add a little bit of that. There. Just don't hit it dead on. There. That's boring.
People gonna come here from everywhere, and I'm almost there. 7 a.m. the usual morning lineup. Starting the chores and sweep till the floor's all clean.
Now Rapunzel, I did a whole lesson on, so you can check her out here.
For the first time in forever, there'll be magic, there'll be fun.
Anna from Frozen, she is very bright. Kristen Bell has that bright sound. Definitely a little more conversational. It's similar to Mandy Moore in that conversational bright sound. It's a little more twangy, so you can sing in your mask and really feel like there's that use of twang. You'll hear it on. And I know it's totally crazy to think I'd find romance. It's like forward and here. So this is that super bright forward sound using your twang. If you went into your head voice, dream I'd find romance, you wouldn't get that edge that you want. To dream I'd find romance, so stick it really forward here. It's right behind your nose. It's definitely a nasal resonance, but you're still singing in your mask.
Don't let them in, don't let them see. Be the good girl you always had to be.
Now, of course, I have to finish with Elsa, and I think I could do an entire voice lesson on how to sing Let It Go, because that song in itself is a beast. When I think of Elsa, I think of power, and I think of that deep, rich sound, but she's also got such an edge to her voice. Idina Menzel has a very unique musical theater voice. It's like she knows how to yell really, really well. And that's what belting is, essentially. What's kind of fun for me is I had already covered Let It Go. So I had a version where I belt my face off at the very end and totally chested out that last note. And then when I did the medley, I actually decided to mix the sound. So I have two different techniques that I used vocally on my two different versions of this song online. It's a good example of the use of twang, how you can still be belting, singing high and loud in your head voice in a really healthy place, and it can still get the job done. Another thing to note is when you're singing Let It Go, the vowels that you make, it's all about what works for you. This song is like survival mode a little bit because it's such a beast of a song. So think about what vowels work for you on the big, big notes, especially in the light of day, 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 whatever you need to do. Let the storm rage on if it needs to be really bright and spread and open, or ah if longer works for you. Keep in mind you want to be supporting low, low, low. It's like huge breaths every single line of that song. And open your mouth. You've got to open your mouth for this song. So I'm going to demonstrate for you so you can hear how I use my twang, my mixed belt, and how I use my chest belt. Two different ways of singing this last big note. And you can decide for yourself which one you like. You can probably tell by the look on my face which one's harder, which one's a little more vocally straining. But both of them I'm really keeping in mind to have low, deep breath support. So first I'm going to show you how I do it in my mixed belt. Let the storm rage on! That's really supporting low, but it's also going into this part of my voice, my twang. It's really resonating in my mask, and I'm trying to send it into that nasal resonance so I can really let the sound cut through and carry. Now, I'm not going to change anything about my dynamic, and I'm going to belt this note now and just really keep it down in my chest voice, let it resonate down here, but always supporting low from my belly, like I'm going to sing it from my belly button. Let the storm rage on! Harder, and you could probably tell that my mouth was, at least it felt like it was much bigger on that one. But either way, you can get a taste of the two styles. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. To recap, the Disney sound, it's all about enunciation, clarity of vocal. It's really about the brightness in your tone, singing in your smile, and most importantly, have fun. So thanks again for watching, everyone. I will see you all next week. Bye.